Hello, welcome to Henry's Blues and Boogie Woogie piano tutorials and advice. My name is Henry Herbert and the topic of today's video is going to be, do I need a piano teacher? I have an email here from a guy who he's 36 years old and he wants to start playing piano. And, I've just got this email from him on my computer. I'm going to read what he says. I think we can all benefit from it. Hi Henry, I'm from Dublin, Ireland. You're a true inspiration. Thank you very much. My father was playing the piano a bit when I was a kid, but I never got truly into it. My dad used to play piano and guitar when I was a kid. And that's how I got into music. After watching your videos, I'm thinking more and more of starting lessons myself. I'm 36 now. I know it's not too late. You're right, it isn't. Never too late. However, I have some odd questions for you. I'd appreciate your answer. Okay, no problem. Why do you need a teacher? I am and always was a self-learner. Whether it was learning yoga, cycling, or playing ping pong. I tend to learn best when I go into a cave, sit there for a year, and emerge only when I feel I mastered any given skill. What is your opinion on that? Well, three things come to mind when I'm reading this question. First thing is yoga, cycling, and playing ping pong are in some ways similar to music, but in some ways not similar to music, because these things are, well, yoga and cycling are quite solitary things, and I've done both of them, and it's something that takes place on your own, in your own environment, which is very closed off from everything else. And ping pong, you're playing against someone else, but it's just the two of you. And when you're playing music, you're playing two people or four people normally, or if you just play it for yourself, that's cool as well. But if you just play on your own in your bedroom, then you will only play on your own in your bedroom. You will not ever get out of your bedroom. You will not play to others. And I know, because when I started, I played in my bedroom, and then when I got out to perform in front of other people for the first time, I think I was about 15 or something when I did my first gig. It felt like a whole new thing, because everyone was staring and waiting for me to play. There were different energies going on. There was an energy from me to them. There was an energy from them to me. And it was just not the same. And I'd practiced and practiced and practiced in my room. I couldn't do it in front of everyone in the same way. And so I realised that I needed to get out and play in front of others as much as possible, because I wanted to be a performer. I wanted to play professionally in front of others. So that was my path. But you need to figure out what your path is. If you want to just play on your own for your pleasure, for your own pleasure, then that's totally fine to play just in your room, and then that's fine. Loads of people do that, just play for their own benefit, and that's totally fine. But if you want to play for others, if you want to play gigs, and you need to get out of the bedroom and into the world, play whenever you get the chance to do that. Well, the other point you raise is, why do you need a teacher? Well, I think that it depends, because you could have a really bad teacher, which would be worse than having no teacher. I've been lucky. I've had a few very, very good teachers. A guy called Big John Carter, who lives in London, and a guy called Diz Watson, also in London. A guy now who's dead called Ray Ward. He was a jazz guy. These three people have taught me pretty much most of what I know now, other than what I taught myself. And I think there's a balance to be found between teaching yourself and having a good teacher. I think you'll know if the teacher is good. You'll just feel right. I've had many bad teachers as well. Didn't feel right at all. But those three guys, each of them taught me something special in their own way, and I benefited from them. So I think as well there are things that should really be shown by a teacher, like hand position, relaxation of the wrists, wrist technique, all these things that it's better to have someone there in the room showing them to you rather than picking them up from YouTube or a book. So I would suggest that it's possible to have a balance between having a teacher and teaching yourself, but the vast majority of the work in learning will come from you, will be practicing. And the lesson will be half an hour or an hour out of many hours that you'll be practicing over the week or the month. So I would suggest trying out a few teachers, or go to piano players that you like, ask them who their teachers are. Find a piano player that you like, ask them if they give lessons. Do some research, find out the path that you want to go down and how those people who have walked a similar path learn the piano. And some kinds of piano are really, you should have a teacher. Like if you want to learn classical piano, where you're going to sight read music and learn a great classical repertoire, then you should find a good teacher to set you on the right path for that kind of music. That's what I would say about that. So he then goes on to ask a few more questions, which are all very interesting. He says, do you have every piano key memorized? That is, when you play some of your fast boogie-woogie pieces, do you just remember the tune from the ears or from the eyes? Really good question. The answer is both. I see the key and I know what it sounds like in my head, so I hit it. But I know before I hit it what it's going to sound like. But I use my eyes to see where it is. So it's both the ears and the eyes. And it's the musicians have two sets of ears, we say. We have these ears, and we have ears inside our head where we can hear a note. Some people can hear a note, it's called having perfect pitch. They can hear every note. Some people can only hear the difference between two notes. That's called relative pitch. I don't have perfect pitch. I have relative pitch, but it's something I had to work on a lot, and still do. Have you memorized every single piano key? No, I haven't. There's only 12 notes on the keyboard, really. And they go up in octaves. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then the 13th note is the same as the first note. It's just an octave higher. And it goes octaves up the keyboard. So there's only 12 notes that I've got memorized. And that's something I'm going to do another tutorial on, is how there's in fact only 12 notes. He says, I can type on a keyboard without looking at the keys, which has 101 keys, but I still make mistakes here and there. Well, I've been thinking about this a lot because I've been using my computer a lot recently to book things, book shows, and suddenly I realised that I was able to type very fast without thinking, and the words would just come out, and that's pretty much how it is with playing the piano. You just know where the keys are and you just play them because you've done it so many times. Like, people have typed so much, especially now when people my age started typing on a keyboard when we were young, when we were at school. I mean, I'm 34 and I was typing on a keyboard when I was 8 or 9. And so that's over, it's nearly 20 years. It's over 20 years of just typing a keyboard, so you know where all the stuff is. It's the same story with the piano. It's about repetition, constant repetition in practice. And when you learn tunes, you get to know where all the notes are because you've just played so many tunes and it just goes in. And that's the thing about the brains, it just goes into your brain. The more you do it, it will go into your brain. You just got to, I say this in many of my other videos, you just got to practice a lot and play a lot and keep going and going and going. And it will eventually become easier. Then he goes on, this is very interesting. Some people say that your fingers and bones are already not able to perform more complicated pieces at my age, that you need to train and shape the habits when you are young. Well, this is true up to a point, yes, but that shouldn't stop you from pursuing what you want to play. And who's to say that there are not new ways of doing things that we haven't figured out yet? There's great potential in human hands and wrists and arms to do all sorts of things, and I think you should start small. I think the things you're talking about here are things that are way, way ahead of the game. Things, sort of very complex classical pieces, very, very intricate things, which you would find very challenging to play if you hadn't begun a very disciplined classical training from a very young age. But that shouldn't stop you learning to play the piano. I think you should start with smaller goals of what you want to do. Start by learning a tune that you like, or a pattern or a riff that you like, or a song that you like, anything like that, or a part of a song. I can type on a computer keyboard very fast without looking at the keys. Well, so can I, and so can lots of people, but it's not quite the same. A computer keyboard is very light. It's very, very, very small movement, whereas a piano is big, and it's a big movement, and it's heavier. Push those keys down is quite a big movement, but you should be relaxed when you play. Then you can go really fast if you want to do that. I think it's all about being relaxed. And when I'm typing on the typewriter keyboard or a computer keyboard, I'm super relaxed. And it's the same story with the piano. You've got to be relaxed, because if you tense up, you will not be able to play as fluidly or as smoothly as you want. I'll show you a run which goes like this. And to play that really fast, you just got to relax and sort of let it flow. And it was just relax, fluid. And if you tense up and it's no good, just relax, like you're typing at the typewriter. Okay. All right, that's all for today. Thank you for your email. I hope I've been able to answer your question. Anybody else who wants to email, send me an email. My email address is down there in the description. Also links to my shop where you can buy CDs and sheet music. I do have a CD out. It's called Boogie Woogie Piano, and it's got 10 instrumentals on there, rocking instrumentals, all done on solo piano, and working on a few others, but a few other CDs at the moment, but that's the main one. So thanks for listening, and I will be posting some more videos soon with some more advice about the 12 notes on the piano. Thank you very much. Goodbye.